Burglary victim complains of sleeping police. 40 Lindeners arrested for breaking nightly curfew. Police issue wanted bulletin for murder suspect. In the region, CARICOM considers allowing intra-regional travel. And internationally, stigma and fears of quarantine hinder Kenya's COVID-19 fight. Greetings and welcome to another edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. I am George Gonzalez. Thank you for joining us. This morning, an inmate of the New Amsterdam prison made a brazen escape for freedom. At 6:51 a.m., during the unlocking of the facility's doors, convicted prisoner Ray Joseph jumped the prison fence. Guards on duty immediately raised an alarm and pursued Joseph. He was recaptured about 15 minutes later in a nearby community. Joseph is currently serving a 15-month sentence for a simple larceny. His date of release was December 11, 2020. However, after his failed escape, it's likely that his sentence will be extended. 40 residents of the mining town of Linden face the magistrate's court for breaking the nightly curfew. Here's Bibi Bacchus with more.
Over the past week, 40 Lindeners have been arrested and charged for breaking the nightly curfew. According to police, the arrest campaign began on May 8th, and those arrested were placed before the Linden Magistrates Court through virtual hearings. They were fined. Police prosecutor Vernette Pindar said that failure to pay the fines will result in persons being remanded to prison for up to 3 months, and those who refused to show up for court were charged in absentia. Many of these curfew breakers were caught as a result of roadblocks, community patrols, and responding to calls of persons breaking social distancing regulations for entertainment purposes. Roadblocks were set up at the Bamia Police Outpost in Amelia's ward, the Mackenzie-Wismer Bridge, and key sections in Wismer. Pinder reiterated the call for residents to adhere to the advisories implemented by the Public Health Ministry, saying, if you do not need to be on the road, stay at home, stay sanitized, because when we have to answer these reports, we are putting ourselves at risk. Commander of Region 10, Hugh Winters, echoed Pindar's call for compliance with the curfew and other regulations, reminding that the region has the second largest amount of COVID-19 cases. Linden has recorded 9 cases thus far, with 1 death and 1 recovery. For Headline News Update, Bibi Bacchus.
Thanks, Bibi. Also in Linden, the mayor and town council collaborated with several businesses to distribute approximately 300 hampers this week to senior citizens residing in the municipality. The exercise forms part of the town's Golden Jubilee celebration. According to Mayor Wanika Arundel, it is customary during Linden Town Week celebrations to host a senior citizens luncheon where they would also distribute hampers. But as a result of the current COVID-19 pandemic, the hampers will be delivered to the elderly residents instead. Linden turned 50 on April 29th of this year. However, most of this year's activities are being hosted virtually. And in Georgetown, the Georgetown Mayor and City Council, through donations from the Civil Defense Commission, distributed hampers to the residents of James Street, Alboystown. Heavy rain over the past several days has caused severe flooding in the neighborhood. Georgetown Mayor Pandit Ubrajnaran thanked the CDC for its support and donation of cleaning hampers, which consisted of soap, bleach, and other detergents to help residents in the area clean their surroundings after the floodwaters have receded. Stick around. Coming up after the break, burglary victim complains of sleeping police, and police issue wanted bulletin for murder suspect.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-stand 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans. Samsung smart stoves, Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets, air fryers, and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Reinfeld Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
Oh gosh, what is this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. This is what I could do here.
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the senior teacher at the Treasure After School program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Meet Terence and Shabana. Both believe they've been exposed to COVID-19 and were advised by the Ministry of Public Health to quarantine themselves at home. It's a normal working day and Terence grows tired of home quarantine guidelines. So he heads off to work using public transportation. Now all the passengers and his co-workers are in danger of contracting COVID-19 from Terence. After work, Terence heads straight to the gym for daily exercise. He shares the same exercise equipment with many others that day. Later on that evening too, Terence heads off to play several rounds of dominoes with some friends. By breaking the quarantine rules, Terence has endangered the lives of the passengers, his co-workers, members of his gym, and his friends with whom he played dominoes. By contrast, Shabana practices social distancing. She works from home every day and in the evenings, she video chats with her family and friends to stay connected. Shabana is also obeying all the guidelines that the Ministry of Public Health says we follow when quarantined at home. Shabana has infected no one. Let's all do our part and practice physical and social distancing by avoiding unnecessary travels and staying home from large groups of people, including our families and friends. A message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO WHO. For more information, visit our website at www.health.gov.gy or visit our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page.
Welcome back. This morning, the Guyana Police Force issued a wanted bulletin for 29-year-old Donald Sheriff of Patrick's Dam and Goys Avenue, New Amsterdam, Berbice. He is wanted in connection with an altercation that led to the death of his neighbor, 33-year-old Karan Nicholson. The two reportedly got into an argument on May 8th, which ended in violence. Nicholson died almost 2 weeks later while receiving medical treatment for his injuries. Anyone with information that may lead to the arrest of 29-year-old Donald Sheriff of Patrick's Dam and Goys Avenue, New Amsterdam, Berbice, is asked to contact the police on telephone numbers 333-2151, 911, or your nearest police station. One resident of Caneville, East Bank, Demerara, is complaining about the way the officers at the local police station handled their case. More from Esther Sobers.
When you call, they are not answering the phone. And when you left now, risk your life and go to the station now, they are asleep. You gotta go and wake them up.
Debbie Gopal of Caneville, East Bank, Demerara is concerned with what she believes is the unprofessional conduct from the officers at the Grove Police Station. She is only the latest burglary victim in the village who is complaining of the manner in which these cases are handled. Gopal recently reported to the police that 3 gunmen ransacked her home, gun-butted her husband, and stole cash and other valuables. The traumatized woman recounted the horrific ordeal which occurred at about 2 a.m. on Wednesday.
This morning around 2 o'clock, my husband usually come out to work, and as soon as my husband opened the door, so there was 3 men right in front of the door waiting on him with gun. All 3 of them have gun, and they gun butt him in his head and put the gun to shoot him in his head. And when I hear this, the little noise, I started for holler. And they tell me, husband for tell me, shut me mouth and open the room door.
After complying with their demand, the woman, her husband, and her daughter were robbed of their personal items as the men continued their hour-long search through the house. The men stole a flat-screen television, cash, phones, 2 birds, and several other items.
When they left and gone, or about 1 hour later, when we go to Grove Station, we call in at the road at Grove Station. No one answer us. My son opened the gate, go in the station, find the police asleep, had to wake up the police. Before then, when the thief left and gone, I forgot, we ring Grove Station, we ring and ring and ring, and no one answered the phone. So when we get there now, they were asleep. We had to wake them up. When we wake them up now, then they jump up. I said, y'all supposed to be protecting the citizen. What y'all, they pay for sleep. Age range, they are young men, young black men. And their age range, between 19 to 30, like 20-something. Very young. 3 of them was in the house, and one, apparently, like they were outside too. But we didn't see the outside.
Do you think justice will be served when the police will be able to apprehend the suspects?
I believe so, if they really do their job. I believe so. Police in this country, Guyana, need to really do their job. Imagine that if you leave to go to the station and find them sleeping, it really bring an more fear into your lives and your heart and your daily lives.
If you may have information that could help the police capture these suspects, please call the police on 911 or visit your nearest police station. For Channel 2 Headline News, Esther Sobers.
Thanks, Esther. Following reports of 5 residents and 1 patient care assistant contracting COVID-19 at the Palms Elderly Care Facility, the Ministry of Social Protection has enacted several measures to mitigate the threat of an outbreak in the home. This includes sanitizing the facilities twice daily, barring entry to visitors, providing staff with personal protective equipment, more frequent screening, and testing of residents and staff. The Ministry of Social Protection also stated that the remaining renovation works for one of the retirement home's wards will be accelerated. Upon completion, it will be used as an isolation facility. Don't go away. Coming up after the break, CARICOM considers allowing intra-regional travel, and Stigma as well as fears of quarantine hinder Kenya's COVID-19 fight.
Hurry down to Zasco on 15 North Road between Camp and Wellington Streets. Quality products at low cost for every room in your home. 65 and 55 inches high-end 4K smart TVs. Samsung French door fridges. Black & Decker appliances, queen and king size Canadian-made mattresses. German-made pressure pots in 5 to 9 liters. 12-piece pot sets, knife sets, cutlery sets and pans, commercial fans, Samsung smart stoves, Canadian-made 3-piece recliner sofa sets, air fryers, and Hamilton Beach hot and cold water dispenser.
For that reliable, prudent, and courteous traveling experience, your choice is G3 Cabs, located at 228-229 Aubrey Barker Road and Beverly Close, South Reinfeld Gardens. Travel in comfort and safety with our deluxe fleet of new vehicles and neatly trimmed drivers serving our customers around Georgetown. We deliver cooking gas, small packages, run errands, and provide minor vehicular roadside assistance such as jump starts of vehicles, flat tires, spare wheel assistance, and more. Contact us on 218-4982 or 218-4500. G3 Cabs. You can count on us.
Oh gosh, what's this? Me son can't read or spell. Stop! 0 out of 20. This is what I could do here.
Hi guys, my name is Ms. Singh and I'm the senior teacher at the Curfew after school program. Due to the spread of the coronavirus and the need for social distancing, we have moved our in-class learning activities to online via Skype. On the online side, we will be focusing on spelling, phonics, reading, and the National Grade 6 assessments. For more information, you can inbox us or call us.
Contact us on 675-4379.
I can call them now.
Hidden Treasures, discovering gems in young minds.
Hey, Latika.
Chiny man, long time in a hear or see you.
I didn't really feeling too good.
He never give me no coronavirus, not me.
Like she know you can get COVID-19 from a phone call? What? Hear this. When somebody cough or sneeze, they spray small liquid droplets from their nose or mouth. If you get too close, you could breathe in the droplets, including the COVID-19 virus if the person coughing got the virus. And bops! Just like that, you get coronavirus. So, stay at least 1 meter or 3 feet distance between yourself and everyone, especially those who are coughing or sneezing. Or better, stay home and don't go out liming.
Hey, Radhika. Yeah, Chiny man, I will contact all you want now. We can hear and see you.
This is a message from the Ministry of Public Health in collaboration with PAHO, WHO.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news in the region and around the world. Member states of CARICOM plan on reopening borders to intra-regional travel in the first instance, hopefully by next month. This is according to Grenada's cabinet minister with responsibility for CARICOM, Oliver Joseph, who last week chaired at the 50th meeting of the Council for Trade and Economic Development, who said, quote, "What we are discussing is to first allow regional travel. That is, travel within the islands, such as travel between Grenada and Trinidad or between Trinidad and Barbados. We are not looking at having international carriers come to the island yet." End quote. During the virtual meeting, COTED approved a strategy for the reopening of economies in the Caribbean community. Grenada's borders, as well as many regional ports of entry and exit, were closed in March as part of efforts to curb the spread of COVID-19. The number of coronavirus infections in Brazil has risen to more than 200,000, while it registered a daily record of 13,944 new cases on Thursday. But President Jair Bolsonaro continues to push state governors to ease lockdowns and open the economy. In the region, Argentina is slowly lifting its lockdown, but Peru is reeling from a rising number of infections despite imposing movement curbs. Al Jazeera's Teresa Bow reports.
This is a regular occurrence in Brazil these days. People burying their loved ones who died of COVID-19. The death toll in Brazil continues to rise, and it's now the hardest hit country in South America. But in spite of the rise in infections, Brazil's President Jair Bolsonaro, who refers to the coronavirus pandemic as a little flu, remains defiant and wants to open up the economy the soonest.
Fica em casa para quem pode, legal. Staying at home for those that can is fine, not a problem. But for those who cannot, those who have an empty fridge and 3 or 4 children crying with hunger, it is out of reach.
Brazil's Jair Bolsonaro has been a staunch opponent of lockdown, prioritizing the economy. And like Argentina, whose President Alberto Fernandez imposed one of the strictest quarantines in the world. Hernan Lucas owns a bookstore in Buenos Aires. This week, the government authorized some shops in the city to open up.
It's difficult because the economy is in very bad shape, but I support what the president did. We had to do it because if not, the death toll would be much higher.
But the possibility of a rise in infections has not been discarded, as the death toll in recent days has doubled. Argentina's government has started to open up some sectors of the economy as millions of people, mostly informal workers, are struggling to make ends meet. Argentina's economy was already in the red before the pandemic, which makes the situation for many here even more difficult. President Alberto Fernandez says that he won't hesitate to reimpose a complete lockdown if there is a surge in cases nationwide. The lockdown is not working out everywhere else in the region. Peru has almost 80,000 infections in spite of the lockdown imposed 2 months ago. In the city of Iquitos, right next to the Amazon River, doctors say they're desperate.
Today we are in a state of total catastrophe. The health system has collapsed. More than 300 people are cared for daily. Health personnel, both doctors and nurses and technicians in general, are decimated. Today there are more than 150 doctors hospitalized in the ICU. We are demanding that the government declare Loreto a catastrophe and disaster.
COVID-19 reached Latin America a bit later than other regions. And while some governments use the time to gear up, others, like Brazil, continue to prioritize the economy over the population's health. Teresa Bo, Al Jazeera, Buenos Aires.
And internationally, mass testing for the novel coronavirus is underway in the worst affected areas of Kenya, but many are reluctant to be checked for fear of stigma and being forced into quarantine. Al Jazeera's Catherine Soy reports.
Jared Onyancha is a COVID-19 survivor. He works as a guard in a quarantine center in Nairobi. He says he was infected there in March and after about a month was discharged from hospital. His employer paid the bill of $400. He tells us his biggest problem is the stigma surrounding infection.
People are afraid of me at work. I can't even get close to anyone. They shun me and say I'm coronavirus. Even at home, people don't want to associate with me. I feel lonely and quite sad sometimes.
The woman who recorded this video for Al Jazeera remains in quarantine after recently returning from China. She says she didn't expect the poor sanitary conditions in the Kenyan government's quarantine center or being forced to pay for her stay, despite the government recently agreeing to cover all expenses. Some people in mandatory quarantine have attempted to escape, and several others have sued the government for violating their rights.
We have not been given masks, no gloves, So the issue of quarantine centers being breeding grounds, it is very high likely that you can come when you're not sick and you get infected.
Government officials say they are addressing the complaints, but blame some Kenyans for not taking social distancing measures seriously, as the number of people infected continues to rise and spread within communities. That's caused drastic measures to be enforced, including banning travel in and out of Nairobi, as well as some counties on the coast. This is a police barrier on the edge of one of the most affected neighborhoods in the city. People are not allowed to go in or leave the area, which is a major trading hub. Mass testing for COVID-19 is also going on. But many Kenyans are reluctant to get tested. Some say they're afraid they will be forced into quarantine. Health experts are concerned that the government emergency response strategy may fail to flatten the curve.
You militarize or you police a public health issue, then you'll expect that people will find ways of not adhering or running away. If you're expecting people to adhere to those things, you need to approach it in a different way. And this way is not to be hard on people, is not to militarize, is to have somebody take people through slowly, explain, have people understand.
Back at Onyancha's home, He says he's lucky to be alive and is ready to return to work. He also hopes that his neighbors, friends and colleagues will soon stop seeing him as a threat to their health. Catherine Soy, Al Jazeera, Nairobi, Kenya.
That's all for today's regional and international headlines. Here is your 3-day weather forecast. That's all for this edition of Channel 2 Headline News Update. Tune in Monday at 7 p.m. for another episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Also, visit our website at headlinenewsguyana.com for all the news we couldn't fit in the newscast. Until then, take care. Greetings. Burglary victim complains